At Society, Chance says that was a tough service. Summer doesn't think she's ever seen her brother so upset. She's glad Lucy didn't see it. She recaps that Daniel is the prime suspect in the murder. Even after seeing how distraught he was, you still think you arrested the right person. Chance was just doing his job. There was no way around it. Some people are having a very hard time accepting that. Will this be a problem for them moving forward, or is it something she thinks they can get past? Summer remains silent. Chance asks if that means they can't get through this. Summer hopes they can, but she hates that he was the one to arrest her brother. Chance says it's his job. She says he's supposed to capture bad guys, not arrest innocent people. Chance stresses that it was one of the hardest things he's had to do. Summer can't understand why he couldn't delay until another suspect came to light. Chance says there was no other suspect and the evidence pointed to Daniel. Summer argues it was planted. I mean, shouldn't you guys care if evidence planted or not? Chance has nothing to indicate that. Summer doesn't know how she expects her to feel. Her brother is going through hell and her boyfriend put him there. Chance says the evidence was damning. One of the reasons he took this case in the first place was because of her. Chance reminds her that he returned to the force to get justice for Heather with her encouragement. Summer thinks the situation at Abbott Chancellor had something to do with it. Chance says, "Summer, you wanted me on this case." She thought he would find answers, not arrest her brother. Chance says it could have been worse for Daniel with another detective. He hates what her brother is going through, but he couldn't avoid it. He was following orders and the law. He really hopes she can take that into account when she tries to figure out if their relationship can survive this or not. Diane paces her suite waiting for Victor's call. "Don't leave me hanging." A knock comes at the door. It's Nikki, warning Diane to back off. She knows what she's trying to do and is damned if she'll let her get away with it. Diane isn't interested in listening to her. Nikki tells her she's brought on all her problems herself. She's grateful Jack finally woke up. Diane orders her out. Nikki won't leave until she makes it clear that if she thinks she can exploit Victor's negative feelings toward Jack, she is sorely mistaken. Diane says, "Is that so?" Nikki won't allow it. The war between Victor and Jack needs to end. Diane laughs. It will never end until there's an absolute loser and winner. She tells Nikki she can't root for both of them forever. It's time to choose a side. Nikki has no intention of picking sides. Jack and Victor have found common ground before and they will again. Diane is doubtful. Nikki sneers that she doesn't know that man she married at all. Diane complains he turned on her with a cruelty she didn't know he possessed. She'll happily watch Victor grind him into dust. Nikki won't stand by and watch her hurt Jack or anyone in his family. Diane complains she's the one with no home, no job, and no family. Nikki sneers, "Oh please." She vows to protect Jack no matter what and warns her to stop trying to sell Victor on this plan of hers. No matter how much progress she thinks she's made, she's no match for her. In the club dining room, Kyle tells Victor he came as soon as he got his call. He has good news about the sunscreen line and wants to pull together a launch party. Victor just nods. Kyle guesses he called him there about the state of his parents' marriage again. He has nothing new to report. Victor stuns him by asking him to stop focusing on. In fact, don't involve yourself in any activities for the time being, all right? Angry, Kyle protests that is literally on the cusp of making a major mark on the international cosmetic scene, and he wants to put it on hold. Victor says it can't be helped and that he doesn't owe him an explanation. Kyle complains what this will do to the bottom line. He asks if he did anything to make him pull the rug out from under him. Victor urges him to go to his mother. She's out for blood. Your mother wants to destroy your father and undermine you. She wants you to fail at. Kyle says that's a new low even for her. He has no plans to fail. Victor says she threatened to sue for him taking the formula from Jabot. Kyle will deal with it. He's surprised she's gunning for him. The last time they spoke she seemed almost remorseful. It doesn't make sense. After being fired from Jabot, why wouldn't she be happy to see Jabot go down? Victor says she feels betrayed. Kyle says if anyone's been betrayed, it's him and his father. Victor muses, "You and your father." Suddenly Nikki and Diane appear, arguing. Kyle stands and asks his mother, "What the hell are you up to now?" Diane asks Victor what the hell he said to her son. Victor tells Nikki they have to go and assures Kyle he'll get back to him with next steps. Nikki seethes at Diane, "I meant what I said." After they walk off, Kyle confronts his mother, "Are you trying to sabotage me at?" Diane says she's the one who's been sabotaged. Kyle angrily tells her she doesn't get to play victim. He is the son she abandoned. "What did you say to Victor?" Diane tells him to leave her alone. Kyle asks, "You're not actually going to try and sue, are you?" Diane tells Kyle she doesn't owe him any explanations. He informs her she owes him way more than she could ever repay. He accuses her of wanting to ruin his success. Diane asks, "Is that what you think?" He asks, "Do you deny it?" They go over her convincing his father he needed to go from Jabat. She says he was undermining her. Kyle accuses her of wanting to take his current success away from him. "I want answers." Diane reminds him she told him her love for him never died, but all he sees is deception and betrayal. Kyle says that's all there is underneath everything. Colluding with Victor against her own son. Diane frowns. "Victor told you that?" Kyle says he doesn't trust her any more than he does. Everyone knows what she is and going to Victor seeking revenge proves it. At Society, Summer tells Chance she doesn't want to lose what they had over Daniel's arrest or trial. Chance is happy to hear her say that. Summer is just worried about her brother. How's he going to beat these charges and what's going to happen to him and Lucy if he doesn't? Chance has been racking his brain in case he missed something that could exonerate him. Summer wants his honest opinion about something. "Do you think that there could be anything to my mom's belief that Sharon had something to do with Heather's murder?" Chance thinks it's a tough theory to accept. Summer thought the same thing, but the way she reacted at Heather's funeral made it seem she was about to crack. Chance shrugs that it was an emotional day for everyone. Summer says the more she watched Sharon, she saw actual fear in her eyes. "I think my mom could be onto something." At Newman, Victor asks Nikki what she said to Diane that had her enraged. She told her she wouldn't stand by while she goes after Jack with her petty vindictiveness. Victor thinks Jack's a fool and wants to drop the subject. They debate and Victor says he's giving Diane enough rope to hang herself. Nikki sniffs, "But you don't mind using her to hurt Jack." She wants his word that he will leave Jack alone. "Can you please promise me to end this war?" Victor tells Nikki if she does what she asks, will she stay away from Diane Jenkins. Nikki sniffs, happily. Victor says she'll self-destruct on her own. Nikki complains she never goes quietly and usually hurts someone else. Victor promises she won't hurt anyone in their family. Moving on, he has something to show her. He hopes she appreciates it. First, Victor has to make a call and make sure everything is ready. Nikki coos that he's still a man of mystery after all these years. Nikki asks if he can give her a hint about the surprise. Victor says it will all be clear very soon. He gets a text and says, "Now we go to the ranch." Nikki frowns. That's where the surprise is. They're getting their coats together to leave when Diane walks in. She demands to talk to Victor alone. He asks how she got past security. Victor says his wife will stay. Diane asks why he betrayed her to Kyle like that. "We had a deal." He says they had a proposition, that's it. She was ready to stab him in the back for her own benefit. Diane says he's left her no choice but to sue. Victor warns her. Diane says she won't have to do it if he gives her what she wants. "Fire Kyle and turn over to me." Victor orders her out. Diane will give him time to think about it, but don't take too long. "My patience is wearing thin." Victor bellows, "Out." Nikki says, "So you are secret investor." She thinks Diane is out of her mind. Victor's giving her enough rope to hang herself. He doesn't want to discuss it anymore. "Let's go, shall we?" Kyle arrives at home to find Harrison and Claire playing cards. The boy hugs his dad and Kyle says it's exactly what he needed. Harrison invites him to play a game of cards with them, but he's wiped. Harrison gives him another hug. Claire sends the kid to the kitchen and Kyle thanks her. She senses there's a lot going on. Kyle would rather not talk about it. He'd rather have dinner with her. At society, Chance can't take Phyllis' theory seriously because she's so desperate to exonerate Daniel. Summer suggests that his judgment may also be a little bit skewed since he had a relationship with Sharon. Chance says that's how she knows what kind of person she is. He can't see her committing cold-blooded murder. Summer squints. You sound really sure. Chance is sure. If hard evidence came in suggesting it was anyone other than Daniel, he'd turn it in. But Phyllis has nothing other than the desperate need to keep Daniel out of prison. Just then, Kyle walks in with Claire. He apologizes to Summer for not making Heather's ceremony. Summer says it was devastating. She asks where Harrison is, and Claire explains he's with Mrs. Martinez. Summer didn't think that was one of her duties. It's really nice of her to keep him company, give you a break. Kyle says they should head to their table and guides Claire away. Summer sips her drink. Chance says, "Looks like that's turning into a thing." Summer muses, "Guess so." She watches Kyle and Claire as Chance asks, "You got a problem with that?" Summer says whatever is going on between Kyle and Claire is none of her business. Chance points out she didn't answer his question. Summer doesn't really care what they do in their spare time. At their table, Claire tells Kyle that Summer clearly wasn't thrilled that they left Harrison home to go out. Kyle says she'll have to get over it, especially if she comes with him to Abby's wedding. Claire would love that. Kyle grins, that's great. He asks her to tell him about his card shark son. Claire knows he's working hard to avoid what's bothering him. What happened today? Kyle says an issue with his investor. Claire says, "You mean my grandfather?" Kyle guesses Audra's spilling to anyone who will listen. Claire can see how complicated the business relationship was, involving two rival families. She asks why Victor wanted to acquire and have him run it. Kyle thought he did, but now he's not so sure. Victor seems hellbent on putting him through loyalty tests. Claire asks what happens if he fails. Kyle's not sure he wants to find out. Diane enters her suite angrily and pours a drink. Sipping it, she walks over to the desk and picks up her phone and dials. She says, "Hey, it's me." No, things are not good. We've got a problem. Things are not turning out the way we planned." At the ranch, Victor leads a blindfolded Nikki through a door and closes it behind them. He tells her, "Stay right here," and then removes her blindfold. Nikki is shell-shocked and speechless. Emotional, she gasps, "Oh my God. How can this be?"